The Aliens movie introduced us to the Power Loader, a mechanical exoskeleton controlled by a human and designed for lifting heavy objects. The machine can multiply a human operator's strength. Its overall lifting capacity would be around 4,000 kilograms. Even though the machine is very slow, Ripley did use it to fight against a queen alien. But there are other suits within the Alien universe. The one I want to look at for this video are the Berserker combat units. They were operated by the Weyland-Yutani Corporation and usually sent on missions involving a lot of xenomorphs. But unlike the power loaders, the Berserker units were designed for combat and sent in alone. Various units would weigh anywhere from 2 to 10 metric tons. Both their left and right arm would be equipped with powerful weapons like a flamethrower, an electroprod, pulse rifles with chemicals meant to neutralize the xenomorph acid blood, and grenade launchers. The armor plating on these units would be acid resistant. This was to protect it from the xenomorph's acid blood. So by now, you might be thinking, this is the perfect weapon against the aliens. Well, it does come with a few design flaws. The first problem is that it required a human operator to volunteer, and once they were placed inside the unit, they were almost never able to come out. Whoever was assigned to operate a Berserker unit would spend most of their time inside it. When no mission was assigned to the team, the pilot was placed in a coma through the use of sedatives. But when they needed to turn the Berserker on, it was pumped with a triple dose of synthetic adrenaline. This would supercharge the pilot right before it was sent in to deal with the alien swarm. The pilot within the Berserker unit would have to link up with the machine in a special way. A set of probes were drilled into the back of their brain. This gave them control over the machine's movements. Then, the advanced computer program would automate its actions, such as aiming and tracking targets. The overall experience was so painful that most operators would succumb to injuries or adrenaline overdose and expire. So you could say Berserker units were kind of like cyborgs, the merging of machine and flesh. While they were very efficient at destroying a lot of aliens during a mission, their uncontrollable rampage would sometimes result in friendly fire. They were truly a weapon of pure destruction, but at the cost of a human life. One specific unit was in the comic book story Aliens Frenzy. A special team is assigned to wipe out the alien hive on a space station. DS Service Terminal 949 was their target, but it had the largest amount of xenomorphs they have ever encountered. An alien infestation occurred when they escaped from a transport ship. But something about the mission is not right. Executive Vice President Mr. A. Grigson orders the team to not call for any backup. No outsiders are allowed on this mission, so the team assigned here, well, they're on their own. But of course, they have to secure the space station, so they cannot nuke it. As the story unfolds, it's revealed that essential data must be recovered from the space station. They want to know what went wrong, and with no backup being sent in, the team is expendable. The Berserker unit part of this team was simply named MAX, which stood for Mobile Assault Exo-Warrior. Things turn for the worse when the pilot of MAX passes away, so the technician Ellis makes the ultimate sacrifice. He boards MAX and takes over its controls. He's fully aware of how it operates and eventually is able to adjust to its interface. He saves the rest of the team within the hive and even takes out a queen alien. When the survivors make it to the primary console, they begin transferring the ship's data log to the Nemesis, where the commander is waiting for them. But still, something does not seem right. He betrays his team, locks them in the space station, and plans to leave no evidence to incriminate the company. He is simply following orders from those above him. As he sets off the reactor to blow up in 12 minutes, he tries to persuade Laura to abandon her team and come with him. But a facehugger jumps him, and Laura uses this chance to run off and help her team. Only 3 survivors make it out as the base explodes, but Ellis has suffered a severe amount of mental and physical pain in the mech suit. Their story is later tied to Machiko Noguchi around the time she joined a new Predator clan. But after some time with them, the only thing she feels is being alone. Before she left Ryushi, she brought a device that could pick up transmission signals in space, but all it did was a reminder of the distance she put between herself and humanity. As the Nemesis ship drifts through space with no fuel, they're able to reach a base through a distress signal. A ship is dispatched by Bunda Survey and sent out to their location for assistance. Meanwhile, the commander of Bunda Survey contacts Mr. Briggs. Before he arrives there, he shares a code word with Kevin Vincent. The word is Cancer Black. When the survivors make it to Bunda, they are quarantined right away because of reports that came from a space station infested with aliens. Alice then brings up what happened on Terminal 949. The data they retrieved is very important to somebody. Perhaps this person believes the survivors might know what's inside the data. Mr. Briggs later reveals that the data they took was about using Terminal 949 as a test site. They wanted to know how fast an alien infestation would spread through an isolated community. Cancer Black was a reference to the black aliens and how they infest and take over an area. But this is when the Bunda Survey Station is attacked by a group of predators. During all the chaos happening on the base, someone sends out a distress signal, and it is picked up by Machiko Noguchi. Troubled by her time spent with the predators, she chooses humans and comes up with a plan to leave. She ends up slaying a few clan members and then steals a ship. When she arrives on the planet, she tries to help out the survivors and escape. But things turn for the worse when they are surrounded by predators and aliens along with their queen. Their chances of survival are low, but they are saved by Ellis, who is now inside the Max suit. Despite the trauma he suffered earlier, he's willing to endure it once again to save his friends. But as they leave the planet, they decide to leave the Max armor suit behind. Briggs was inside it. To exact revenge for being face-hugged, he made the most of the little time he had left. The story of Aliens Frenzy started off as a comic book, but was later adopted to a novel called Aliens Berserker. I also want to point out something, and it's on the cover of the comic book. If you zoom in on the pilot, the facial features don't even look human. The Berserker unit Max would later appear in the comic story Alien vs. Predator 3 World War. It continues the story of Machiko Noguchi, but Max is only shown in a flashback scene. Another version of a Berserker suit was in the graphic novel called Aliens Tribes back in 1992. A squad of Marines was sent to a medical research space station called Todd Lab XLI to eliminate a xenomorph infestation. They brought with them the Mach 16 Berserker, which ends up fighting against a queen alien. Many aliens get taken out, but the queen gets her throat blasted by a grenade launcher. The Mach 16 is destroyed by the end of the story when aliens sacrifice themselves. Their acid blood burns through the interior. This would end up depressurizing the entire station. When multiple baby boomer explosions go off, the Mach 16 is pulled back into its blast radius and destroyed, but there were some survivors aboard a ship that made it out in time. This graphic novel also mentions something about the pilot being kept in a coma. If they are allowed to dream for too long, it could have a negative effect when they wake them up for combat. The pilot might still have visions of their dream. There's no telling what they would do at this time, but on one occasion, this resulted in the accidental death of another team member. After I finished the whole story and looking over the design of the Berserker combat unit, now I can see why they were given that specific name. The large doses of synthetic adrenaline causes the pilot to go berserk. So that covers the Berserker units in the Aliens universe. If you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell. This way, you don't miss a video. I do have a playlist for a lot of this stuff. It's called Lore and History Explained. I did cover other franchises, so have a look inside. You'll find topics from other franchises and movies that I like, so it's not just about Predator and Alien. What I like the most about these topics is reading how some writers come up with very unique ideas. This of course can cover a vast amount of things like the story, characters, weapons, plot, enemy design, and maybe leaving the ending open for a sequel. What made the Berserker unit so different is how the pilot has to sync up with the computer program. Although it's a painful process, once you're inside, you feel invincible, but at the cost of losing your life very soon. Now you can also find me on Twitter and Instagram. Sometimes I post other stuff on there. Thanks for watching this video. My name is Carlos, or Acid Glow, and I'll see you next time.
All units, we have a system error. seen a